they couldn't find anyone better, so here's Michael Boxall again on the Unused Subs.
Mate, you're the only person we ever wanted, Michael. How are you guys doing? I mean, you look fantastic. You look worse for wear.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is the morning after,
It
the
is.
day after World Cup qualification, and you look absolutely rinsed, Spoon.
Yeah, I know. I thought it was like doing it through like empathy and making sure I'd be like there with you guys, and then this guy comes in, he's on the waters, he's on like the neat drinks. I've got to be honest though, I was nervous drinking during that first half. Yeah.
Nervous drinking?
Nervous drinking,
Just
mate.
because the goal didn't come?
Goal didn't come.
Yeah, but then cometh the hour, cometh the man with your first international goal for New Zealand, and what a time to do it. How does it feel in the moment where you're the guy who breaks the deadlock against New Caledonia?
Yeah, I mean, probably a frustrating first 60 minutes. But then, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those moments where it happens so quick, and then you don't really react until I see Marco and Libby kind of like screaming in my face, and I'm like getting up, and then, yeah, with the crowd right there, it was, yeah, a pretty nice moment. And then, I mean, just getting swarmed by all the boys and then running to the corner flag. The whole bench is sprinted down, and it's a cool moment because it's obviously been a long journey with a lot of those guys. And yeah, and knowing how much that goal meant was pretty cool.
Was it enough to sort of, I don't mean to like be derogatory in any sense, but was it enough to lift your spirits? Because when we spoke to you on the Unused Subs a handful of weeks ago, you were saying that qualification for the World Cup wouldn't mean a great deal. It's what you do when you get there. So in that moment where you break the deadlock, you score the goal, were you like, did that fill you with any joy or?
I think I get happier off seeing other people happy. So I think it's, yeah, obviously not buzzing for myself for the goal, but to see how everyone reacted, to see the crowd, all of Eden Park just kind of erupt was more special for me than obviously qualifying, because I mean we made hard work of it, but I mean we all expected to get there in the end, and yeah, we just took an hour longer than we thought to score a goal.
And a very unlikely source.
Mate, what was your emotion when you saw him put the ball in the back of the net?
I was absolutely thrilled for you, mate, because I knew that we were going to be talking to you today, and I was like, this is serendipitous, isn't it? You know, like the guy who we're going to have on the Unused Subs is the guy who scores the goal.
I
was so wrapped for you, mate, because, you know, like this has been a long, hard path for you to get to a World Cup. And then to win in that fashion, mate, I was absolutely thrilled for you.
Thank you. I mean, yeah. I mean, as much as I'd like to give you credit, my wife has been, she's been wanting me to, every game.
I don't deserve any credit.
Every game she's been, on my case about scoring. So she actually stayed up until about 3 or 4 watching that one back in Minnesota. So
brilliant.
Libby.
Yeah, love her for that. So.
I'm surprised you didn't have like a message under the shirt like Dose & Co. or Milu or something like that.
This is where we shamelessly plug it, you know, just deadpan.
Yeah.
Straight
By
down the camera.
Milu and Dose &
And make sure you're putting that stuff in your pancakes in the morning,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Michael Boxall, Unused Subs, brought to you by Dosing.
And I suppose your nervous drinking ended when Boxy broke that deadlock.
I mean, I had 2 stages. So I went full Mourinho. Like, because we're on the balcony at Eden Park in the lounge. And the ball goes in, and it must have been, the 13th corner?
At least,
was close to it, Beautiful ball, but we'd seen it before. And then I was kind of like you. I didn't react until the ball hit the back of the net, and it was like it was coming back. And then I just took off. Just
ran.
Punching,
And so
swearing.
who did you see on your run?
Who was there?
You can't remember, can you?
No, it was Kevin Fallon.
awesome.
Alan Jones was there.
Legends.
Everyone was in there, and I'm just sprinting up and down, punching air. And then I find out he's the one that scored. Like I had no idea.
You didn't even know?
I didn't even know, and that made it so much better.
Just as long as it's in the back of the net,
because
right?
you're scoring irrelevant as long as it's there.
But then it's like it's his first goal. It was it was awesome, man. I dive into the cliches, but you just relief first, and then when Box scored, elation. Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Well,
Cheers, mate.
that's
Thank you.
awesome to hear, because when I watched that game from a lounge room last night, I was thinking, does this have the magnitude or the gravitas of, say, Peru, a Mexico, a Bahrain back in 2009? And what you're telling me, in the ground, inside the stadium, that the atmosphere was electric.
Mate, the fans took off.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
That's cool.
Yeah, so the opponent was irrelevant, and they wanted to see the ball go in the back of the net, and Michael Boxall joined Wooden, Roofer, Fallon in scoring a goal to take us to the World Cup, mate. So you're the 4th name as part of that list. That's...
So rave about yourself, mate. Go on.
good.
How cool are you?
Wrong guess.
I mean,
wrong guess.
the amount of messages I've been getting, I should do it less because it's my... Yeah, there's too many messages on my phone. Too many podcast requests. You know, it's not for me. But no, I'm excited for the boys. It's obviously the next 15 months is going to be busy and a lot of work to kind of make sure we're in a good place to compete at the World Cup. But it's exciting. Yeah,
and you've already lined up some pretty decent opponents, Ukraine, Cote d'Ivoire as well. So I'm expecting that to continue. But just on the game before we look to the future, I don't expect you to pay attention to every league around the world where the All Whites are plying their trade. But Francis de Vries is making a name for himself for Auckland FC with his pinpoint accuracy with the crossing, either from dead ball situations or an open play. It was he who provided the opportunity to score. Were you or anybody else surprised by that? His ability to find the target when it mattered the most?
No, I think, because obviously I try and catch as many of the boys' overseas games. So it was Auckland FC or the Phoenix guys, obviously Woodsy as well. Just try to, keep tabs on them. And, I mean, since he's come into that team, he's done so well. And I think we've seen the quality of that left peg is, undeniable when, I mean, how long? He's been in the All Whites fold, for a few years now. And he's always had that quality. So I think, obviously,
is it getting
Paney
more
as
accurate
well.
as time goes on?
Can I just jump in and ask a question just to clarify? Did he take the corner?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I accidentally gave credit to...
No, I'm just clarifying.
Oh, you don't know? You've got no idea.
I couldn't see that corner from where I was standing.
Can you see today?
In the post-game interviews, I gave credit to Libby because he'd just been banging in about 10 others in the game, and I thought it was him. But, I was... just caught up in the commotion as much as you were. So I didn't even know it was Franny.
World Cup qualifying goal scorers as well, mate.
Yeah. Oh, mate. So for the young guys, the ones that have never been through this process before, what did it mean to them last night? You saw the joy on their faces as soon as the final whistle blew. Did they party long and hard into the night, knowing that they're off to the World Cup next year?
I wouldn't say long, but I think
it was a Monday night. That impacted things.
Doesn't matter what night.
I know.
They definitely had a few more drinks than I did, but. But seeing those younger guys, especially the ones that were involved in Doha against Costa Rica, I think, that losing that game was a tough one, especially for the guys that played, and then to kind of ensure that we were not going to miss out on the next one was pretty important. So, I think obviously those guys are the future of this game in this country, and they're in a great place where they are right now, but then have massive futures ahead of them as well.
Can you take us? So we've gone to the goal. The first 45, I can imagine it was frustrating on the field. What's the change room like at halftime? Because is it one where I imagine a lot of people thinking you guys might get a bollocking? That's not really Bays' style. 2 changes. So Eli comes on and Frankie comes on. So what's the kind of messaging in that moment? Because the reality is, it's a pressurized moment. It's not like you're up against a competitor like Bahrain or Costa Rica, but there's a lot of pressure on you guys to get the job done. And at that point, it was still 50-50.
Yeah, I think when we look back to like Friday night, everything we wanted to do, we were able to do, and it came off. And I think New Caledonia's coach did a great job of setting them up to obviously deny Paney's crosses, deny Libby's crosses, and then just flood numbers around Woodsy. So it was frustrating coming off at halftime because it's not often we get to play in front of such big crowds with a lot of energy in New Zealand. So you want to reward that, and because we weren't able to for the first 45 was a bit frustrating. And New Caledonia they were kind of tricky on the counter attack. They were kind of dangerous in a couple moments.
That number 8 was decent.
Yeah, he chopped up a few of us. Bays wouldn't call it bollocking, but definitely a stern talking about, how we just need to mix up the game a bit. And I think just being a bit more direct, I think when we're playing out, it just becomes a bit predictable. And
not as methodical.
Yeah. And then, New Caledonia worked hard to get across the field, but we knew if we played at a pace that they wouldn't be able to live with it for 90.
At any point, were penalties discussed and who might take those penalties?
No.
Well, I'm just saying, like at half time where it's 0-0.
Yeah.
It's an unexpected result at that point, right?
No, yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
But no.
penalties never
You weren't in the shed, were you?
penalties never crossed our minds, I don't think. And I mean, if it was to get to that, I think we've got probably 10 guys that would step up and be confident to bang one in.
Yeah. Even Max and
That's
goal.
harsh on
probably
Max.
been one of-
Yeah, no.
No, I was the 11th.
What on Woodsy, mate? Because, you know, look, he's such a
He was
hero
supposed to be here, and we
every-
thought you'd be talking about his goals when we started this up. Instead, you're here talking about
I'd be a
your
lot
goals.
better than that than I am.
and,
yeah.
and he's off for a scan on a hip or a lower back or
Something,
whatever
yeah.
it was. So what was the word on his injury in the wash up for that one?
I think he just landed awkwardly on his lower back.
So he didn't land on anyone? Because I did, again, I missed the moment. Yeah.
I missed that moment. He was
Sensing a theme here.
But yeah, I just hope he's had a hell of a year. You just want him to bounce back from this quickly and continue to bang in goals for Nottingham Forest because he's had a great year and we just want to see that continue.
But that guy in Eden Park, though, mate, against the Socceroos last time,
Yeah.
he had to come off again. Was it a broken rib or
It was
something
his
like
rib,
that?
that's right.
Yeah. But he's an absolute Trojan, eh? Despite what's going on. You could see he was grimacing and in pain last
battled
night,
away
but he's
from
trying
it.
to get on with it.
Battled away for a good 5-odd minutes, mate. He wanted
Yeah.
to be there and wanted that goal. So, hopefully he pulls up all right today.
What about the nonsense of a yellow card inside the cake tin?
In Wellington?
Yeah, come on, man. Did anybody know the rules? I didn't realise that he could get
No, you
yellow
can't.
carded. What?
No, there's no rule.
Oh, so it was at the
Just
referee's
made it up.
discretion?
Yeah.
What?
I think it's like unsportsmanlike conduct is the only thing, and that's like a get out of jail free card kind of God moves in mysterious ways type interpretation. So it's got a real broad width, but he didn't infringe on anything to do with the laws of the game.
Yeah, that's outrageous, eh? Because
Just a yellow for being a great human. You know?
I've done my lot here. I've scored a hat trick in the semi-final, and now I'm going to go sign autographs for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what happened at Mount Smart before Christmas, where you guys played Samoa, and he was subbed off early. And he went and signed autographs, and I cheekily just waited around for him. And literally, when the lights went out at the stadium and security were telling him to, move along, I've gone, "Hey Woodsy, tell me to fuck off if you want." And he just says, "Well, fuck off then." I
Kind of like an OnlyFans type.
And I said, I've got my best mate at the other end of the ground. His wife is from Nottingham. Their kids love you. Do you mind? And he's like, not at all. And then he races off with a pen in hand. And he's like, he's taking the piss out of me. He's like, keep up, mate, keep up. And I'm like, well, I'm in full strides and loafers and whatnot. I can't run anyway.
Yeah.
And he busts a move to the other end of the ground. So this is the quality that is your captain, mate. It's
he's
incredible.
Just an awesome human being. I think the amount of, obviously what he does on the world stage for football in this country, and then to fly as long as he does to get back here and play against, to go to Vanuatu, Tahiti, to the small islands and stuff, and still show up and do his job. Playing for his country means a lot, but then how he gives back with his time and everything is pretty special.
I think, and someone will need to confirm this for me, he's the only Kiwi that is qualified for 2 World Cups. Because he was 17 in Bahrain, and at the age of 33, 34, he's qualified again, mate.
Yeah.
So I don't think anyone else has done that.
And our buddy James McConey put up the video
how
from the
good
last
was that?
time they
Did you see
qualified,
that?
and he was just this pimple-faced teenager, eh?
Okay.
Like, excited to meet James
Yeah,
McConey.
yeah.
And now fast forward to present day, and he's an absolute rock star.
It was him and Scotty in the tunnel afterwards, and Woody's just so excited. He's got like 3 different types of blonde in his hair. He's
Okay,
got, like,
I've
the-
seen
And
the
probably
photos of
3
the
different
hairstyle,
kinds of
yeah.
hairstyles as well.
But the thing is, I don't know how he got away with this, but he had his West Brom Umbro bag. And like Nike's everywhere, and they're trying to make the most of it, and he's like rocking around in this.
The good old days, eh? You could get away with anything. At the other end of the spectrum, though, Boxy, you've got Woodsy doing his thing, and you've got a guy who played alongside you in the semi-final and the final last night, in Tyler Bindon, who's on his way to Nottingham Forest. The quality of the kid. And I also want to hear from you, like, it's been so hard for New Zealand to qualify for a World Cup. This guy comes in, and all of a sudden, it's like guaranteed. And at the age of 20, he's likely to play 4, maybe 5 World Cups by the time he retires.
Yeah.
The mindset has just shifted for these youngsters.
Yeah.
What do you make of that?
I mean, it's great for football in this country when they see. I mean, when we've had a lot of conversations amongst our team where a lot of the younger guys were inspired by that Bahrain game in 2009, by the guys at the World Cup in 2010. So a lot of them are probably in the squad because of those games they watched back then.
Yeah.
And I think knowing that those guys can now have that impact on hundreds of other kids is pretty cool.
I think Garbs, Marco, Joe, there would have been Ben Old as well. We can keep listing them, but they were between the ages 6 and 12, and so it was just this awe-inspiring moment. So I think to Boxy's point, that's probably the thing that's going to have the biggest impact, which is really exciting.
Yeah, and I almost feel sorry for the other Oceania nations, but at the same time, I don't, because that guaranteed path is so beneficial for New Zealand football. Not just putting the All Whites on the grand stage, but what that might lead to for players that ply their trade with the Wellington Phoenix and Auckland FC.
Yeah.
We've seen it all before. Nations go to the World Cup, and then all of a sudden, on the back end of it, boom, you're in the English Premier League, or you're in the MLS, or whatever. So, like, what that can do for your squad. Well, hang on.
I'm just like, you want to move to Arsenal, mate?
You could do it at the age of 37.
Not happening. No.
Hey, how cool was it for not only yourself, one of the old timers, but Kosta Barbarouses getting on the score sheet last night as well?
Yeah.
Given what happened against Costa Rica and the disappointment of the red card, it's almost like a redeeming factor. Look, mate, I've got a brain in my head. It's good. I do. Like sometimes I use it.
He's not just showed up like some people. I mean, Costa, he's whatever job he's been asked of him, he's always a spark when he comes on. Obviously, took a great finish down in Wellington on Friday night too, and I think just brought a little bit of something different when he came on, with the help of us being a bit more direct, and great finish.
The Phoenix connection as well. With
Paney.
Two beautiful goals actually, because that's a difficult finish in Wellington, right? It's on the half, it skids in onto him, and then the goal last night, sublime.
No, it was, it's great to see him. I think I was his roommate on my first All Whites trip. So I think.
Is that right?
Yeah, back in China, 2011, I think.
Wow.
Was that Wuhan? No.
I don't know, some shithole.
Yeah.
It was bad.
They literally, another ground where they put grass clippings down on the field and they painted it.
That helped.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been a busy week for Costa, though, because he scored a few goals. He went up against Ricky Herbert in the media.
Oh,
but
really?
The biggest battle.
That one.
The biggest battle was Kosta Barbarouses versus Champagne Bottle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't have... forget about this. You can watch this on replay at some point.
Okay, first off, shout out to Liv and Jody at Soul Bar for helping us out, but that's where we had our after-match last night, and Higgy for sorting that out as part of Foley Hospitality. But I left at 70 minutes. Once the second goal went in, I was like, done. I need to go start sorting stuff out. So I have missed this legitimately this
Let
time.
me paint a picture. I'll set the scene. Celebrations.com. We've got the board out and everybody's rearing to go with their champagne bottles. Ollie Sale gets one and it's popped and spraying it everywhere. Did you have one?
Yeah.
No, I was... See, this is why I don't like scoring. I was off doing like an interview somewhere, so I kind of missed I was late to that part. But sorry, carry on.
You got Jason Pine instead of a champagne bottle. Oh, that's a real disappointment.
And then Costa is wrestling with this thing and he's trying to shake it up and he's smacking it on the ground. And I think you were right there. What's actually happened? Has the cork been lopped off and he can't get it out?
I have no idea, but it was the video clip is awesome because it's like a wide shot of the whole team, and then it's like a 10x zoom on his hand, struggling. And he's,
Little man battles big bottle. That's the headline today, eh?
Yeah.
But, great that he can score goals.
He should have done it with his feet. Take the cork off with your feet, Costa.
Also, I still haven't seen it, but Eli's goal, decent?
Yeah.
I was working up until about midnight, and then
I just don't believe you looking at your squinty eyes like that. Your red face and sweaty.
I know, it's going to get worse on the golf course in a wee while. So
yeah,
not ideal.
And that's where you guys are off to shortly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, off to play golf.
That's the quid pro quo. We wrangled him in here, so he gets to go off and hit a ball for a little bit. But just on behalf of everyone at home, because I had so many people that came up and said it's fantastic, it's amazing. yes, it's not quite on the same level of competition as Costa Rica, Bahrain, Mexico, but you've got everyone, and I mean everyone, because I mean there's going to be a lot of people going. There's a generation that's going to be inspired by this, and you guys are the 23 that enabled the country to have that moment. So that's unbelievably special.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I mean, that's the responsibility there, and I think, as I've mentioned before, it's about going there and doing it. I think, I look back to like the Peru game or the game against Costa Rica, and I'm like, it would have been so much cooler, I think, to do it when you're considered an underdog. Like
doing it in Peru would have been unbelievable.
But it wasn't to be. But yeah, better late than never.
So what happens with you now? Because you must be pretty excited about the prospect of playing a World Cup in kind of your own backyard, because you've been a fixture in the MLS for a bloody long time now, and to be able to take the All Whites there and show them the sights and sounds and hopefully win a few games and progress through the competition, how does that sit with you?
I mean, I haven't really taken a step back to kind of reflect on that. I mean,
Here's your opportunity,
it sounds kind of poetic, I think, and it will be cool just to make sure my legs and back stay intact for the next 15 months.
Libby, mate, you've got a massive responsibility over the next couple of months.
I mean, speaking of Libby, actually, she was like, "Oh, how do you feel?" I'm like, "Yeah, just trying to still process it." And she's like, "Is this like the biggest moment in your career?" I'm like, I'm not sure. She's like, "No, this is it." I was like, "So if my wife says it is, then it must be."
Oh yeah,
it must be.
That's so hard.
But the ability to play in the States, and who knows, maybe it is your swan song. I mean, we've joked about it before. You stay so fit, you keep your body absolutely top notch.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe you could
40.
go to 2030.
40.
I don't know. I think obviously the goal for me was, to make sure I got to 2026 and could make an impact next year. So yeah, still a long road ahead, but I think anything after that would be a huge bonus. I mean, if my knee blew up after the World Cup, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Let's look at the next 15 months. So we've got Ukraine and Côte d'Ivoire in Toronto. Then there's Norway in October. Yeah. There's obviously a couple of other windows as well. Hearing good things about those.
Yeah.
That's obviously games that involve opponents of a different level. And it feels like now we're on the runway where this team is going to be forged. So navigated Oceania well enough. Now is it about refinement and preparing for that moment when you step out onto the field in the World Cup and just being, I suppose, more than anything, mentally and collectively ready to go?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a huge step. I think in the last year or two, we've kind of been exposed to teams like that when we played Egypt in Egypt. That was a tough one. I think we showed that we can mix it with those kind of teams, but then in the same breath, we showed a bit of immaturity against other quality teams, like when we went to Sweden and played Sweden. So I think, obviously the potential was there to go toe-to-toe with these teams, but I think there is a lot we need to learn and grow from, for sure.
Yeah. Well, what are the key areas for you that this team, this squad, needs to improve upon before getting to the World Cup?
I think we need to have the balls to grab the game and play how we want to play against better teams, but then also recognize that we're not going to have the ball for stretches of the game, and learn how to defend, stay compact, and obviously we've had the luxury of 60-70% possession the last couple games, so we know it's not going to become that easy. So it's finding ways to disrupt other teams, pitch it higher up with how we want to press, and I think Ukraine and Ivory Coast will be good challenges to kind of test where we're at and where we need to go from there.
It does feel as well like this team is, one of the steps that it will take is to assert itself on opponents that are arguably lesser. But I feel like the team is relatively well prepared to your point, be the team that kind of has to hold an opponent at bay. Like you play better against a better opposition.
Yeah.
That Algeria game, I think, was a case in point, mate. That was fantastic. And the Egypt game as well. So, I guess regularity, consistency is the key as we head towards USA, Canada, Mexico.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier some of the messages that have come through. Who's actually reached out to you? Who are some of the big names that have said, Boxy, well done on the goal, congratulations on qualifying, this is fantastic? Name check a few of them.
I mean, there's not too many big names, I don't think. I think just a lot of people who have, been...
Stink to all the
Been
people.
long.
no,
who've
yeah.
reached out.
I don't want to name anyone and miss out other, obviously, old
hear from
Phoenix
Nelly?
teammates. Huh?
You heard from Nelly?
You
Ryan
can't,
Nelson?
you can't put Nelly on blast like that if he hasn't, you know? So that's just why I keep it. But Duncan messaged me. Oh, man. Obviously, a lot of the old Phoenix guys I played with, Jura, Brocky, Vinny.
Nice.
He didn't even stop. He just keeps going.
Brilliant, eh?
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Nelly, if you listen to the pod,
Yeah.
you can get on your phone.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Reach out
Spoon
already.
said, yeah. Obviously, Brownie as well.
Yeah.
Just a lot of guys who have, I played with for the country, over the years. It's cool to see them, everyone still keeping tabs, I think. So, got a lot of love for them.
Absolutely. Well, mate, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, before you split
Yes,
though,
go on.
You're a very humble individual. I love you for that. This would have kept you pretty humble back
yeah.
in the day as well. I've put this up intentionally.
Yeah. No, that's...
The Box Hall
Yeah.
shirt. When is this from? Can you detail it and what actually happened here?
I think this
Pre-season?
was... No, it was a league game, I think.
Oh,
A league game,
Okay.
Western Sydney Wanderers in, I want to say 2013.
at the old Pertec Stadium.
Yeah.
Who's responsible for this?
I believe it was Rusty Gray.
Oh, rest his soul.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
The late
man.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think that's one of the times where I was like, I refused to put it on. I was on the bench. I was like, if I'm getting subbed in, I'm not putting this shirt on. So I think he had a backup one that actually had the right spelling.
He had it
Yeah.
up, and everyone's in the room, and no one's actually noticed. And Boxy's just standing there, staring at it for a good 30 seconds. And I was like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh,
I
Of
wasn't
course,
I
your
wasn't
eye's going to
happy
be
at all.
drawn to it, right? I mean, if your jersey said Sponley, you'd
Yeah.
be like, I'm not wearing that.
no, it's a fair point."
Yeah.
I think to make matters worse, for that game, Rusty had brought a set of kit along that didn't have all the sponsors on the front as well. Were you saying that before? Was that game? Or was that?
I'm pretty sure
game?
that was
Yeah.
that same game. So I think he must have had himself a week at Coogee Bay that week or something. But I think you must have fished that out of the bin that day.
No,
'Cause
I
I think
absolutely
I
did.
tried to
I'm
throw
like,
it away. I was like, I'm
You
not.
turfed it.
Yeah.
That is unique. That is going to be a collector's item. I'm getting my hands on that.
Brilliant.
Oh, I love Rusty. R.I.P. Thank you so much for your time, mate.
All
really
good.
do appreciate it.
No,
Yeah, cheers,
Appreciate
mate.
what you guys do.
Well, look, you've seen us. We're a crew of thousands.
Yeah.
We're doing what we can to pump up the game. And look, it's made all the more easier when people like yourself take the time to join us.
Cheers, mate.
And when you perform as well as you did last night and qualify for the World Cup.
Score a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How good. Thanks so much for joining us once again
all good.
on the Unused Subs Boxy, and enjoy golf.
Cheers, mate. Thanks for having me.
Cheers,
Cheers,
bro.
bud.
Thank you.